Hey there, beautiful souls. It's your girl, Allie, and here we are back at it again for another UAP Society, UAP and UFO news segment. We're going to be doing this once a week now, so I hope you're ready for all the information that we have coming at you. And I'm just going to let Justin say hey before we hop into these stories we have.
Hello, everybody. It's Justin. I'm glad you're all here watching.
All right, so this week has been non-stop with stuff going on, okay? So let's just jump right in. First thing I got on my list is the fact that the UAP Disclosure Act has been gutted. They took out all the good stuff.
Right. Everything that we were hoping for.
Oh my gosh,
is
like
pretty
literally.
much out. Yeah, so basically they removed eminent domain. That's out of there. There's no longer going to be a independent review panel. That's out of there.
That was supposed to be 9 whole people that were going to be weighing in on this thing.
All right, yeah, so basically it's down to a records retention repository. At least there's something, right?
Yeah, I mean, but it's honestly like a huge disappointment to see this amount of effort to completely rip out the good parts of this NDAA, because we're just left with basically like a shell of what was supposed to be in there. And I feel like I feel like Ross Coulthart said it the best. I feel like he has a mouthful to say in regards to this NDAA Act being redacted. Oh, there it is. Okay, so I'm going to let you guys listen to this video. This is from the Need to Know podcast with Ross Coulthart and Bryce Zabel. Thank you so much. So for those of you watching, please press play as we do so we could watch it together.
I think we just need to put it on record, Bryce, that this legislation, this UAP disclosure legislation, was bipartisan until very recently. It was both sides of the House, both sides of the Senate, moving to push towards UAP disclosure, largely because of evidence that has been given in secret by witnesses such as David Grush, the former intelligence officer insider, and other whistleblowers who've come forward, multiple dozens of other whistleblowers who've come forward over the last 2 years. And so in the last couple of weeks, there's been behind-the-scenes wrangling in the Congress, where essentially the UAP Disclosure Act has been steadily more and more emasculated, gutted, purged of anything useful that might assist in UAP disclosure. And what we have left is a flaccid, limp lettuce leaf of legislation, a pathetic shill attempt to try and pacify the public, who I am sure are going to declaim this legislation for the fop pretense that it is. I feel very strongly about this, Bryce. I think we've been played. I think all along there was a group in the defense aerospace lobby that wanted this legislation suppressed. We were led to believe that there was going to be a bipartisan support, but all along certain lick-spittle congressmen, groveling shills to the defense aerospace industry, were only too happy to stick their craven tongues in various orifices of the defense aerospace industry and essentially allow themselves to be manipulated to allow the subversion of public accountability for this issue. I just think it's a disgrace. It's a sad reflection on American democracy. We can talk about what we've got left in the legislation that is going to go to the vote, but frankly, it's a pale shadow of what could have been.
Wow.
Wow is right. I mean, I'm a visual learner, and I have from that statement many visuals in my mind that. Yeah, he painted a picture with that vocabulary. I'll just leave it at that. Leave it at that. So yeah, I mean, like he said, you know, this was a bipartisan effort in the beginning. Everybody was working together. It seemed like everything was going great. There was a lot of steam behind it. And then all of a sudden it like tanked, and the Republicans were just like, cut it out. And they just, you know.
Well, not all Republicans. It was a very select few people that were
It was the Mikes and it was Mitch.
Yes, the Mikes and the Mitches.
The Mikes and the Mitch. That's who it was.
Right.
So yeah, I mean, going into 2024 with this type of NDAA, it's disappointing to say the least. But it is what it is, and
Right.
unfortunately, we can't change it. But maybe there'll be new legislation or opportunities for us to get something better going on. But yeah, we'd like to open the floor for you guys to share your thoughts.
So, I find it interesting just the synchronicity between the military-industrial complex, Mike and Mitch. I think that's a funny play on words, and I think it kind of oddly matches up to what's going on here. And it seems to be one of those situations where I hear it echoed a lot by people on YouTube, which this is where this is probably going cut. But yeah, it's one of those follow the money situations. Exactly.
Yeah, I mean, that's a really good point. And if you do follow the money, it'll lead you to the biggest funders of these guys, which, tells you exactly why they are operating the way they are, because essentially they are marionette puppets being pulled by strings by their major funders. And Lockheed Martin and Raytheon, sorry, I just had something tickling my throat there. But anyways, so yeah, I mean, yeah, good point. Thank you for saying that.
Yeah, and if there was no there, why are they fighting so hard against it? To me, that gives more validation to the fact that there is something behind closed doors that they do not want the Congress getting access to. And that's extremely unfortunate,
Mm-hmm. And in the chat, I just put 3 relevant videos to this story. And for those of you watching this later, not on the call right now, I will also have all of these links in the description below. So don't worry, you'll be able to click on all these things.
Right.
Good old Ross Coldheart said flaccid, and I just can't think of a better description.
It painted such a picture. Lordy.
When I look at this video of these two mics, they definitely know the definition of flaccid. And so it probably comes pretty naturally to them to be able to, put such a significant blow. No pun intended with flaccid and blow. But,
I'm so dead.
I mean, honestly, look at those faces and tell me that they aren't plastic. I mean, that they care about the American people and being truthful, and that they were elected into office to serve the American people. Again, if there was no there, then they wouldn't be lining their pockets with more money from Lockheed Martin, as Ellie said.
Right.
And it's just... Now, Ross Coldheart talked about an empty shell. And it is. So once this new year starts, we're going to have to start putting some stuff in that shell. And these two flaccid guys aren't going to be able to do it. I mean, that's obvious. So what we need is we need more whistleblowers to come out. I know this is going to seem like, I'm sure some of them are thinking, why should I even bother? But now is actually the time for them to start putting some more significant things out. And what we need to have subpoenas in Congress for these people that have this information, so they have to testify under oath in front of them.
I agree.
Yeah. And I also support whistleblowers. I think that they are extremely crucial to this process. I feel like they're the ones that are acting like these catalysts that just keep this ball rolling, because if it were up to those in power, this would have been, this would have been buried under the rug a long time ago. And that's exactly where they want it to remain. But we have to keep allowing these whistleblowers to come forward and sharing their stories, because that's what's going to get disclosure to actually happen. Whether it be from the government themselves or whether it be from the inside out, from the people to the masses, that has yet to be determined. But whistleblowers such as David Grush, Ryan Graves, David Fravor. They're all super important. We stand by all of them and we support all of them.
Right.
All right, so let's move on to story number 2. So story number 2 is Daniel Sheehan weighing in on the Republicans blocking the Disclosure Act and calls out prompt global strike program.
All right, so there's a Liberation Times article titled Daniel Sheehan exposes 5 powerful Republicans blocking UFO Disclosure Act as the clock ticks down.
Daniel Sheehan, for those of you that don't know, is a lawyer, and he has been very active in this arena as of lately. He seems to have a lot to say, and I feel like his opinions are very, very validated. And I feel like, you know, it's worth taking into account what his predictions for this whole thing are. So I just popped up a picture of the article from Liberation Times from December 3rd. And if you guys want to check that out, I also posted the link in the chat and it will be in the description below. One other thing I wanted to point out is that Grant Cameron made a tweet about this whole thing. And he writes, Daniel Sheehan has pinpointed Lockheed Martin, Raytheon, Radiance Technologies, and the CIA's Directorate of Operations, run by David Marlowe, its current deputy director, as entities pressuring the 5 Republican congressional members to kill the UAP Schumer amendment. One intelligence official I am aware of reported said, quote, they are going to put this back in the box, end quote.
No, we can't let that happen.
But they want to, just like I said earlier, they're trying to sweep this under the rug and put it back over and act like there ain't dirt underneath it. But guess what?
But you can't put the toothpaste back in the tube.
Nope. Sure cannot.
I am toothpaste in this scenario.
Are you?
Yeah.
So he also exposed some other material in a Twitter talk space that he had for over 5 hours. I just put another tweet in the chat and I'll pop it up real quick and read it for you guys. This is from Awake While Sleeping. They say, breaking live now in Nick Gold's Twitter space, Danny Sheehan in live Twitter space claims that Radiance Technology of Ohio near Wright-Patterson in Mike Turner's district has a UFO back engineering called Prompt Global Strike Program. They have apparently secured UFO technology from another aerospace industry and are attempting to build a nuclear missile that can travel at 20k miles per hour with no air resistance and can turn at 20-degree angles and can arrive in China or Russia in less than 2 minutes. Danny did not elaborate on his source, but stated, quote, it's true, I gave the name of the project, end quote. He also stated, while it explains Mike Turner's is resisting the eminent domain power in the statute. So, Danny Sheehan is not taking kindly to this NDAA being gutted, and he's also spilling the tea on stuff that he knows because he wants this to be brought to light. He's not going to go down easily and just let this be put back in the box, like Grant Cameron said. We have another tweet from UAP Caucus. Justin, would you like to read this?
Sure. UAP Caucus tweeted, an allegation from Danny Sheehan is that the U.S. is working to apply a successful reverse-engineered propulsion system from a UAP to our nuclear weapons on a new weapon systems platform, Prompt Global Strike Program, and that the U.S. is further along in this process than Russia and China. One of the alleged operators in Radiance Technologies, who he is alleging the one who has been successful in this replication of the UAP propulsion. He also alleges that Sandia Labs and CI International are the other entities involved in this specific program.
I had never heard of this Prompt Global Strike program prior to this situation. Have you heard of it before?
No.
Have any of you guys heard of this before?
No.
No.
Interesting.
Mm-hmm.
I think it's relevant that we're getting never heard before information when it comes to this. It seems like the more these guys are trying to keep from giving us information, the more things are going to be leaked out and the more whistleblowers are going to come forward because people are tired of the BS. They don't, this is something that affects all of humanity. And I mean, people are just tired of the mis and disinformation campaign and the lack of transparency.
I believe Danny Sheehan during that 5-hour Twitter space also spoke about a deathbed confession from somebody who was on the inside of Project Blue Book, who was worked on the classified portion of Project Blue Book. And I believe that person said that our government has actually been in contact with NHI and that they have contracts, and that there are at least, I want to say he said seven
other races,
7 different non-human entities that are here, and not all of them are nice. That's another thing that he said. So
worth noting.
yeah.
I have one more tweet on this story, and this comes from UAP James. His statement follows speculation that Senator Chuck Schumer coordinated with the White House and its National Security Council while drafting the UAPDA, which is the UAP Disclosure Act. So it seems as though something is going to be happening in the White House. I've heard speculation that the White House is preparing the president to have some sort of national
press
event. And I think it's kind of funny that a national press event is being scheduled around a time when there's all this talk of these laws and how President Joe Biden supports it. So I don't know, maybe in 2024 we just may see an announcement from the president about this situation.
Yeah, that would be amazing.
That would be something. That would definitely be something. Does anybody in the audience have anything to say in regards to this?
And anybody that doesn't know of Daniel Sheehan as a lawyer and what he's done for the disclosure movement, look him up. All right. And as far as his credentials, Iran-Contra, if you don't know what that is, look it up. All right. He was on the prosecution team for that. And he's a very legit lawyer, and he's very dedicated. And side note, who doesn't love that hair? I mean, honestly, I would love to have that hair at his age. Regardless, all jokes aside, he's not one that just comes out and just throws crap against the wall and hopes that it sticks. He's got a lot of professionalism and his career behind him that backs it up, and a lot that could be in jeopardy if he's wrong. So I don't think that he's just going to be just flying off the handle with this stuff. And I'm just kind of brought to the question, not just about the government and what they know and they don't know, but just as far as like society in general. Where are we going? Where are we going? Do we really need nukes that can get from point A to point B in 2 minutes? Do we really need nukes anyway?
No.
So it's like, of course, we're going to have this technology that's just going to kill each other faster. That's great, in mass quantities. And we just so happen to develop this stuff by ourselves, by the way. There's nothing to see here. This is just something we've been working on. And the good news, though, is we're getting it before Russia and China. That's the good news.
Why am I getting World War II vibes? Like, I wasn't alive then, but deja vu can still happen, right?
But to me, that just means that, eventually they're going to have it too. So then, of course, we're just going to be back at MAD, mutually assured destruction. And then they're going to try to develop something or reverse engineer some kind of technology that's going to make it a 30-second. What are we doing? We're getting to the point of actually no return, really, honestly. And so as American citizens of the world, for that matter, Britain, some people in Britain might be watching this, and other parts of Europe, how much is enough? Because it's almost to the point to where it's completely, if not already, out of control. So we really need to rein this in any way possible. We cannot continue to go down this path. It is bad. But anyway, I believe in Sheehan. He's a champion.
Yeah.
He has been his entire career. And if anybody needs to be backed up currently, it's him. And that way, if we show him more support, he can come out with more information and put pressure on these contractors, on these special projects within the government, whether they be black projects or not, to get this stuff out and stopped.
Good point. Thank you so much for sharing that. And I totally agree. I'm hoping that we can use the knowledge that we gain from this subject and put it towards good use rather than creating more death and destruction. I mean, if we didn't learn from World War II, I mean, the movie Oppenheimer just came out this past summer and highlighted that whole story all over again. And I mean, I just wish people would learn the lesson, and so that we could just move on towards a better, brighter future for like literally everybody instead of just blowing shit up all the time.
Yeah.
But anyways,
radiance
okay.
instead of irradiance.
Say that one more time, please.
Radiance instead of irradiance.
Ah, okay, I like that.
Yeah.
Thank you. All right, so now we're going to move on to story number 3.
All right. Okay, so NASA has announced the Dragonfly mission that is set to go to Saturn's moon Titan in 2028. That's really exciting news.
All right, there we go. So on December 2nd, this article was posted, and it reads, NASA will land daring spacecraft on a world 800 miles away. NASA's Dragonfly mission sounds like science fiction, but it's real. The space agency will launch the car-sized craft fitted with 8 spinning rotors to one of the most intriguing worlds in our solar system, Saturn's ocean and dune-covered moon Titan. It's a frigid realm where methane, not water, fills lakes and seas, and where the dunes are teeming with the organic ingredients needed for life as we know it currently to develop.
Right.
I just think it's kind of cute because it reminds me of like R2-D2. And I don't know, it looks like one of those
spacecraft?
Yeah, it looks like one of those like little Hercules beetles, but all gold instead of green and gold. I don't know, I digress. But anyways, I think that the Dragonfly craft that they're sending to Titan looks really cute. It's giving me like beetle vibes, and I like it. So next up we have something that's kind of exciting. I mean, not terribly exciting, but it's a good step in the right direction.
Yeah.
And that is that NBC News had a special called Meet the Press Reports on UFOs that featured Ryan Graves, Tim Burchett, and others. So in the beginning of all of this, we were all super frustrated because it seemed as though only small, not well-known news sources were covering this kind of thing. And the mainstream media people were kind of like hands off, like they didn't want to touch the story because as soon as you touch the story, the stigma attaches to you. So they were kind of just like, you know, not getting involved, just complete disengagement from it. But now we have NBC News covering it. And I think that that is a great step forward. You know, having people on the show like Tim Burchett, like Ryan Graves, you know, that's really big. I'm going to pop up a picture right now of Tim Burchett sitting down speaking with the host. And we all love Tim Burchett. You know, I think it's so cool that he's just that good old boy that says it how it is, and dadgummit, he wants the truth. And I'm just really proud of him for being so loud and so proud and so pushy when it comes to this kind of thing. And also, I think it's super important that people like Tim Burchett continue to do things like hold emergency press conferences like they all did last week when it comes to things like this being pushed back against and trying to be put back in the box, because, you know, the squeaky wheel gets the oil, so to speak, right? So like if the people allow this thing to go down and to be forgotten about, they'll gladly let you forget about it. And oh, look, distraction, look over there, squirrel. You know, I just find it, you know, super relevant. And one of my favorite quotes from that series or that program that they did came from Ryan Graves, in which he said, quote, "The government doesn't have the right to classify reality,"
Right.
end quote. And I mean, amen to that, right, guys? What do you guys think?
But he's absolutely correct. I couldn't have said it better myself. Government doesn't have the right to classify reality.
Right.
Right.
And that's perfect. And isn't it Mr. Graves that also has the it's kind of like the internet database that he's set up for pilots to be able to anonymously post their UFO coverage as far as commercial
Yes.
and military. Yes. So hats off to him on that. That's what we need more of as well.
Definitely.
From these highly decorated and these military men that have experienced these things to enable other people to post their stuff as well.
Yeah, and that's what he's talking about is the Americans for Safe Aerospace
That's right.
organization, right?
And I find it relevant to, or something I want to point out, that Ryan Graves has been super active lately. You know, he was at the press conference in the summertime.
Yeah.
He went to the Mexican UAP hearings, the first one, he was at that. And now he's appearing on the NBC News show and speaking his mind on there too.
And he has his own podcast called Merge Podcast.
Yep, check out Merge Podcast as well. He definitely speaks from experience because he was in the military, and he, like all the other whistleblowers, are just ready for this information to be widely spoken about without the stigma.
As Burchett says, just show us the dang gum files.
Right?
So you're right. Yeah, right. You go, Ryan Graves. I salute you, sir.
All right.
So do we.
Yep.
All right, last story on the list, and the saga continues. Has the MH370 video been debunked?
Yeah, that's a big one there.
Oh my. I could say so many things. So Justin, go ahead. Let me get my pictures ready.
Yeah. All right. So for those that might have been living under a rock the past couple days.
Shade.
Well, for those of you that don't know, it's come to light that the source files for the clouds that were used in the MH370 video have been found. And pretty much the video is debunked, in my opinion. So I was really hopeful, you know, that they would be able to prove in some way or form that it was real, you know, but with all this evidence that's come out against the video, now we have the source file for the explosion that was used. Now we have the source files for the clouds that were used. You know, it's pretty cut and dry at this point that the videos are fake. Okay, Ashton Forbes says, I've spoken with Kim.com and respect his advice. After having reviewed the raw images myself, I am prepared to make the following statement. The cloud images seem to be too close of a match to be coincidence. As a rational and logical person, I do not have a way to explain them matching to such a high degree. After talking with Jonas, I don't believe him to have any malintent. I can no longer claim that the videos are authentic due to this evidence. Kim has agreed to make a payment to Jonas for supplying the assets that may have been used to fabricate the satellite video. Since no hoaxer has come forward and Jonas admitted that they did not hoax the videos, the bounty conditions have not been met. So the $150,000 will go unpaid, but the offer remains should this person come forward. The case remains unresolved. The body of evidence uncovered from investigating the videos is extensive, and the fire scenario still presents the best evidence-based story to date. MH370X will not go away. I will continue to stream and do every appearance that is requested of me. I'm always happy to talk about the case and discuss the hard truths. This community is special. Thank you to all the amazing people I've met on this journey as a normal person. put into an extraordinary situation. I couldn't be more grateful and look forward to the next chapter. Ashton Forbes. So there you have it. He's admitted that the video is not real.
All right, and let me just show you guys really quickly. Over here we have the textures or the assets of the clouds that were found to be identical matches. So this is proof that the clouds in the video were gotten from a different source and basically just layered over each other. Here is the Reddit post that says the first satellite video fully debunked, source for clouds found. So as an FVX artist, I was interested in how someone had made those videos. I was 100% sure the clouds in the first video was a second still image, so I began to search the internet for the cloud footage. First, I looked at NASA sites, then some stock footage site, but then as a VFX artist myself, I often use textures.com in work, a good source for the high-def images. So I began looking at the cloud image available on that site. Only took me maybe 20 minutes before I found a perfect match of the one cloud formation. So I looked at other ones from the same collection and found the other matches as well. Earlier today, we had a UAP Society stage chat with some members, and we had some other VFX artists, people that do this kind of thing for a living, and they said that they even know how to create the orbs. All you got to do is put like a ball on an axis and set it to keep rotating, and yeah, so apparently this has been debunked. Patrick from Vetted did a video on it. He seems to think that he seems to think that Ashton is behind this whole thing. I won't get into the drama. I just think it's kind of funny. And yeah, I don't know how much longer this story is going to be, you know, proven right, proven wrong, true, false, up, down, in, out. It just seems to be all over the place. So as of now, it's classified as debunked, but I have a feeling that this is somehow going to be brought back up again. I don't know. What do you guys think?
All right. So for those of you that out there that don't know, there was a paper that was published by some scientists, and they were using the weak signal propagation reporter system to accurately detect MH370 and the flight path of the aircraft all the way to the point of impact into the ocean. And I believe they are trying right now to get the Malaysian government to fund the search for this particular area where they think that the aircraft went down at. So that's something to look forward to, and I hope that they do end up finding the wreckage of the aircraft so that we can once and for all put this story to bed.
And bring closure to the families of those who have missing persons. I feel like the missing people is the biggest tragedy of this whole thing, not the drama behind, you know, faked videos and all that. It's just, where are all of those people? Where are they?
Right.
What happened to them? Are they okay? Are they not? Are they here? Are they in another dimension or timeline? Or I don't know. We don't know. So yeah, that's that story.
What do you guys think about it?
Yeah, let's hear some thoughts.
Okay, well, I'm gonna just a few things that kind of pointed out to me, and one is probably very silly, and that is the Reddit post where someone says, so as a VFX artist, I was interested in how someone had made those videos. Said he was 100% sure the clouds in the first video was a 2D still image. Yeah. So he looked and he says that he spent about 20 minutes and he found it. Okay. Stuff's been out for how long?
This happened in 2014, right?
Right. But this stuff's been, you know, I mean, people have been looking for the orbs, they've been looking for the flash, they've been, and I understand there's a lot of assets. Okay. But some guys just like, oh yeah, hold on, textures.com, as if none of these other VFX artists have thought about going there. Let's just look at clouds. Well, there you go. There it is. Took me 20 minutes. I don't know what you guys been doing. That's a little weird to me, you know. That's
Right.
a little strange to me. Not saying that it's not right. I'm just saying it's a little weird because you got all these people, but it takes a lot of people to sometimes to solve these things. Solve is not really the right word, but as far as the video. The second part is kind of like a little bit of psychology. There, you know, I'm thinking psychology here with Mr. Forbes' tweet, his MX370X statement. You know, and
Well, he's
I mean,
gone so hard for this whole
sure.
time, so I'm sure it hurts his ego so
Oh, yeah.
bad to like have to admit that this thing is a debunk. But at the same time, I do applaud him for coming forward and saying,
Right.
"Hey, look, guys, it looks like I'm wrong." Because a lot of people will just die on a hill that they have been defending for so long, rather than just going, "All right, fine, I give up," waving my white flag, it's over.
Right.
Stick a fork in me, I'm done. So yeah, I commend him for, you know, admitting that this thing could be wrong just because he went so hard. And just shameless plug, I just posted a link in the chat for the Hello Alley MH370 discussion with UAP Society Discord members. That was a VC stage event that we did with Ashton a couple of weeks ago, maybe a month. I don't even remember how long it was. It's been a minute. When Ashton was in the UAP Society server, and we invited him to be a guest to have a conversation with all of the UAP Society members. And, you know, he took questions and we discussed this whole thing.
Yeah, it was a good conversation.
It was. It was.
So if you have not yet checked that out, definitely do. I would greatly appreciate it. And while you're there, please do us a favor. Hit that like, hit that subscribe, hit that notification bell, leave us a lovely comment down below, and share this video with your family and friends so that we could help spread all this news. And yeah, let's just get this info out there. That is all of the stories that we have for this evening. I hope that you guys learned something new. Please let us know in the comments your thoughts about all of this stuff. Please let us know if we taught you something that you didn't know before or hadn't considered before. Let us know what you think down there. Hit that like, hit that subscribe, all that good stuff.
Thank you, everybody, for being here. Much appreciated.
Yes. And with that, we are out. Thank you guys. Much love.
Much
Deuces. Mwah. Namaste.
Yep. See you next week.
Yes. See you next week. Tune in. We'll be back. Bet that.